But now when we look at February, all right, we look at February and we're looking at A, all right, so we would go across and we would have whatever we have for inventory plus production, and then subtracting the current ending inventory. All right, and we can copy this as well to this point here. All right, I'll show you. We just copy that over, and notice this is for B, right? So this would be in terms of B for motor B balance, and the ones are hitting where it's going to be the January inventory plus February production, and that should meet what the customer wants. And then whatever we got for February inventory, that's going to be subtracted, right? Because it's multiplied by -1. All right, so let's go back to February balance for motor A. So just let me highlight that. Okay, so what was the balance for motor A for February? Let's take a look. So for February, for motor A, that's 700. All right, we can put the 700 here. All right, we can follow this and notice how this is blank going across except for these three, right? Because it's all about motor A for this one and the restriction to meet demand for motor A. And then when we go into the next one, this is all motor B for February. So this is all motor B stuff on this side, and you can see how it's all February. It's bringing in the January inventory, right? Because whatever is left over at the end of January is something that we can sell to our customer. Remember, what we have available to sell to our customer, to ship to our customers, what we produced, and whatever we have for our existing inventory, that's available. And for motor B for February, what was the demand the customer wanted? Okay, for February, motor B, it was 1,200. All right, we can put that in there. Okay, now we can do this pattern. And we could go for A in March. So A in March will have the February inventory right here. I'm going to space away. Okay, and just to check, you can see that that's all March for A. All right, and again, whatever we had for ending February inventory plus March production is what we have available to sell. All right, and then we subtract off the inventory that we have at the end of March. And that should equal the demand, all right, for A in March, which is 1,000. So we should have a 1,000 for that. All right, again, don't forget in terms of where do we get 1,000 and all these numbers that I'm reading off here. This was given by our customer. The customer is saying, I want 800 in January, 700 in February, 1,000 in March, and 1,100. So these are given, and in this situation, they'd be given by the customer. The customer says, here's how much I want of these motors for each month. Okay, so there's no, no calculation there. All right, let's take a look at our next one. Okay, so we just did March for motor A. So let's do March for motor B. So we would take February's inventory. So we start here. All right, so February's inventory. And I just copy that over. All right, and I can finish this off for April as well. So you can see here's starting for March, and this would be for motor A, and going down one for March inventory. All right, then we have April, and then we could just check. All right, so we have March for motor A, so this is March for motor A. February's inventory, what we have left, what we produced in March, and that's available for selling to our customer. All right, and then the last one would be April. So here's April for motor A, and the ending inventory for March, and April production is what we have to sell, what we have available to ship to our customer. And let's just check that for motor B for March. So motor B for March it's hitting the ending February inventory, and then plus the production. So those two together gives us what we have to sell. And then lastly, for April, for motor B, all right, for motor B, then we've got March ending inventory plus April production will give us what we have to sell. And again, it's got to equal our constraint. So if we take a look, so we got 1,000 here. All right, so for March, we had 1,000 for motor A, and then we had 1,400 for motor B. All right, so 1,400 for motor B. Okay, and then we need the April ones as well. What was the demand for each motor for April? And again, it was 1,100 for motor A and 1,400 for motor B. All right, and 1,400. Okay, so we'll just check. So 800, 1,000, 700, 1,200, 1,000, 1,400, 1,100, and 1,400. We can just check. Okay, it looks like it's checking. Now we do have to have an ending inventory, which is at the end of April, and and this is stated in the question. They need to have 450 at the end of April for motor A, and for motor B they need 300. All right, so we'll put in the 450 and the 300. So 450 and 300. All right, we'll just check. Just go click across the row here. All right, so that's 450 for motor A, and motor B is 300. Now we have some capacity for storage, and it's in terms of how much we have for each. So let's take a look. Okay, so here's our maximum inventory, it's 3,300, and it's the combination of the two products, so inventory for the two products. All right, so again, this is saying that it can add up to 3,300 or any number below, but 3,400, that's not going to fly. So we got to keep it lower than that. All right, so these will all be 3,300, so 3,300. All right, we can copy that down. Make sure that we have, all right, and I'll just check April. Yep, it's hitting there. Okay, good. And it's saying that the number has to be less than or equal to. Just don't have the space. All right, so whatever that number is, it could be 3,300 or a number lower than that. All right, we'll just copy that down like so. And in terms of January storage, it's going to be the inventory for January, all right, added to the inventory for January for motor B. All right, you can highlight that. And what it's saying is how much we have for inventory multiplied by 1 plus how much we have for inventory for the other motor multiplied by 1. So that's going to add up to two numbers, and that those two numbers should be less than or equal to 3,300. All right, we could do the same for February. And again, we would go under February inventory right here, which would be here. All right, and it's February storage cap, so we can have the one here. And we would be right here for February inventory as well. All right, and you can see in terms of it lining up, there it is lining up. All right, now that we sort of figured out how it all works, we can put that in for inventory for April, and then we can put that in for, all right, we can just double check. So March, and then April. And let's just check. So March is March inventory for 1, and then March inventory for motor B. All right. And then motor A, April inventory is 1. Okay, and April inventory for B is 1. Okay, so it's hitting that. Now there's also labor maximums, as you can see, and there's labor minimums. So let's take a look at that.